Now, here is some really sobering news for young men around the world, or at least in America, but I assume this translates to around the world, and uh, it probably explains the rise in kind of this modern red pill content where, sure, some of it is helpful, some of it is accurate, but the most popular stuff is the mostly inflammatory stuff where they use terminologies like calling women 304s and all the responsibility of promiscuity falls on women, not all the guys they're sleeping with, all this kind of stuff of why that is. And I think it's pretty rough. Um, you know, I don't really, here's the data. And, you might want to grab a cup of coffee over from coffeebrandcoffee.com before we go through this. We just rolled out our fall flavors. Again, people don't all know this, but like we roast our own beans, we fulfill our own orders, we control the process from the beginning to the end, and we put, and I personally dial in every single roast, every single flavor. You have a high quality coffee, tea, and cocoa available. We just launched our fall flavors. Promo code the quartering to save. You gotta try butterscotch toffee or our pumpkin pie spiked jack-o'-lantern. I really think you should probably get all three. They're seasonal. Get them before they're gone. Now, this is an interesting report put out from Alexander or Date Psych. Now, interesting, it could be anecdotal, but it's interesting. Why are so many young men single? Are they excluded from a brutal mating market by society? Probably not. I mean, some of this is actually kind of a white pill. 45% of men aged 18 to 25 have never approached a woman in person. Let me say that again. 45% of men have never approached a woman in person, according to this data. Now, there are a lot of reasons for that. Think about Me Too. Think about the way society treats men, the way that, men are villainized for essentially shooting their shot. You try to, there are a lot of reasons. In I believe one of the biggest reasons for this is the ease of access and the prevalence of spicy videos. That's what I think. I think that the generation of young men, 18 to 25 now, have never had more access to parasocial relationships and prawn than ever before. And that's probably what this is. Now, if you look at some of this, rare approachers. Now, approaching means the way the data is also like OnlyFans, things of that nature. This is like, have you ever walked up to a girl and like said, introduce yourself, tried to, start a conversation? Again, 45% of men 18 to 20 have never even tried talking to a woman in person. That's insane. A sizable minority of men, 45, are not approaching women at all. In this entire data set, 29% of men said they have never approached a woman ever before. 27% said it had been more than a year. This was larger in men in the age of 18 to 25, where 45% of them had never approached a woman in person. This is again consistent with the hypothesis of a generational risk aversion trend in Zoomers. 17% of them had not approached a woman in more than a year. Never and more than 1 year are discrete groups. This means that about half of all single men in this data set are effectively not approaching women for dates in person ever. This is a crisis. You want to talk about how you want to talk about how like Elon's always talking about birth rates and and all this stuff. This is a generation of men destroyed. And it's my opinion that it's from the easy access of parasocial relationships and those self-satisfaction videos. That's what it is. Gen Z doesn't even remember Me Too, right? Let's be clear about that. Gen Z wasn't even, they were like in diapers during Me Too. You might think, how is it a crisis? Bro, 50% of young men are self-selecting out of the dating pool. What do you think that does to birth rates? What do you think that does to the long-term happiness? What do you think that does to the nuclear family? This is what the government wants, by the way. This is what these globalists want. They want everyone divided and dependent on the system. And and I don't even want to go down that road, but you can see where that's going. Just plug into the AI girlfriend and then work all day long. Just plug into your AI banana washer. These men are significantly more risk averse than those men who do approach women. Well, that does not really surprise me. That would track, right? He writes, this is actually a white pill. It isn't the powerful forces of society at large that explain young male singledom. It's much more mundane. Young men are simply not trying. Wrong. I actually big disagree with that. I huge disagree with this. Young men are not trying because they're getting 95% of the satisfaction they want from their digital girlfriends. And they're becoming more risk adverse because of evil women and modern feminism. It's not just a single reason. It's not just prawn. It's not just Me Too. It's not just OnlyFans girls and parasocial relationships. But it's when you are spending your days and you're taking care of yourself, you're getting the poison out every day, it kills your drive to find a mate. You can sit and you can be in denial and try to blame women and blame this on women. Sure, women aren't pursuing men. Okay, well, how about Gretzky's is that Gretzky's quote? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Now, maybe these men are perfectly happy. We don't really know that. But in my experience, taking care of yourself isn't exactly that satisfying. The also will bring out too, as you may be seeing, the widespread legalization of herbal supplements out there. Also, I believe, is not awesome for young generation. Now, I'm someone who has always partook in that, and I never had any disinterest from those getting at those sweet walls. So maybe I'm an outlier. I don't know, but there are some correlations there. What about the men that do approach? Here's the thing. Most are successful to some extent. 68% reported making at least one successful romantic connection, meaning that if you shoot your shot, you're not gonna, every woman you talk to is not going to be your life mate or your, whatever, they might be Mrs. Tonight. I don't know. You might not vibe at all. But you'll never know if you don't shoot your shot. In a recent survey, we were asked about the locus of control in dating difficulties. Locus of control describes a degree to which you feel you have agency and control over your own life. Internal locus, high agency, high control. External is low agency. Things just happen to you. So if you have an internal locus of control, you think, hey, I'm single because of the things that I'm doing, or I'm fat because of the things that I'm doing. If you have an external one, you think, oh, I'm fat because of all the garbage that they put in today's foods, even though I choose to put them in my own mouth. I'm fat because I don't have time to work out. I'm single because all women are 304s. You know, you control that, and it's not an easy pill to swallow. And I'm never gonna, are there terrible women out there? Of course. Are there terrible men? Yes. It's never gonna be my message, and I know that I have a non-insignificant portion of my viewers that strongly disagree with me. And that's okay. Like, I don't want you to go anywhere. I'm hoping that I'll convince you over time. Maybe you'll convince me over time. But I'm never going to be that guy that's like, you're single because women suck. Dude, there are great women everywhere. Get off the dating apps, get a hobby, join some clubs, join a cornhole league, a darts league, a bowling league, pickup soccer leagues, beer league, baseball. There's a zillion ways you can meet women that don't involve swiping right. And I think that most people be far more likely to do that. Across all the dating difficulty items, people with a higher external locus of control reported more difficult dating. No kidding. Right? There's a lot out of your control, but at the end of the day, one thing is clear. If you're afraid to talk to women, you're not going to meet many women. Women are not going to fall into your lap. Before we look into systemic roots of modern dating woes, we should look at individual behavior. The amount of men who simply are not trying, who believe everything is out of their control, seems to explain a lot of it. I agree. Sorry if that makes you hate, I agree. Look, I have plenty of videos dunking on, angry feminists and gross blobs. But these are the outliers. Get out there and you can meet real people. This idea of like sitting at home and watching guys who are secretly gay pretend to be alpha male on the internet, dunking on OnlyFans girls, promoting these women on their own channels while pretending they now don't like them, secretly behind the scenes sleeping with them. Just so you know that, fellas, all these red pillars who are living the clean life, they're sleeping with all these OnlyFans girls that they bring on their show. You know that, right? Like, you know that half of these dudes are secretly gay, right? You didn't know that? Like, I think that there is a lot of value in teaching men to be careful, to keep your, keep it in your pants, take control. But this data is sad. Quote, men are afraid of losing their job, Me Too, legal consequences, just for talking to a woman. 1, most men cited fear of rejection. Okay, that's normal. That's normal. That doesn't surprise me. 2, this is risk aversion. You live in the same environment as everyone else. You're afraid to approach other men are not. So you see, why do you not approach? Fear of rejection, which is totally normal, and that's not something to, you just got to get over it. And then you have the black-pilled people. There's people are just black-pilled on it. This is not a good look. This is not good for men out there, and I will continue to try and bring men back to taking it internally, spending time on yourself, joining clubs to meet people, not just women. Don't go out looking to meet women. Go out looking to meet people. And then when you meet people you get along with, eventually some of them are going to be women. That's how it really works. Sure, people do use dating apps and stuff like that, but I'm more of a traditionalist, but I'm also 40 and I haven't been in this dating game in a long time. All right. I'm not pretending to know what dating is like in 2023, but I will tell you that for the last 200 years, okay, basically since the beginning of time, even further back, courting between humans has basically been exactly the same. Okay? So take it internal, work on yourself, and you got to shoot your shot, boys. You got to shoot your shot. The worst thing she can say is no. Trust me, the first no is the worst. It just makes it easier. And it's not, don't take it personal. Take that no, be like, cool. Don't be like, oh, you bitch. No. Okay, it's fine. It's whatever. Move on to the next one. Be afraid to fail. Have some balls. This is sad data. And also turn off the prawn, boys.